slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why they say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you find a door.
What's going on, Titan Nation? We're going to get ready to get started in just a second. As y'all see on the graphic, we are definitely going to talk about some quarterback controversy as the rumor mill is still spinning with a week left before the draft. Also, we're going to take a look at probably your favorite position and mine, the wide receiver position. And then we got some information on the new stadium proposal as well. And last but not least, we're going to get into a little quick conversation about the Grizzlies and Lakers. As y'all can see, Jaren Jackson Jr. on the graphic. We're going to get right into that. So we're going to get this show started quickly in less than 60 seconds. And we're going to get this show going in just a bit. Y'all come on in. Make sure y'all share this show out to everybody. Let everybody know where to go. And we are definitely going to get this show live and kicking in living color, and we're going to get this thing started. Let's get it. Good evening, Titan Nation. How's everybody doing? Welcome in to another edition of TNT Tonight. I'm your host, Chris, aka Blue Enforcer. We're going to have a great episode for you on this evening. We're definitely going to have a lot of fun, and we're definitely going to get into some of your favorite subjects, and we're going to talk about the wide receivers. We're also going to talk about the NBA is back on tonight, so we're definitely going to talk about that. So definitely make sure y'all share this show out to everybody. Make sure y'all go under TNT Enforcers if you haven't already, and join the channel. I'll approve you. Also on Instagram at Titan_N_truth, and also you could go under You can also go under Twitter at TNT Blue Enforcer. So let's definitely get into that. We're definitely going to get into some things and everything. So we're going to go ahead and get this show started. And I see we got a lot of people coming on in. I see we got our usual people, Titan Fox is in here. Kent Woods, of course, our resident Titans hater, is in here. We got Keon Maxwell, definitely up in here. Ty Fox said he doesn't like basketball. I'm like, I'm actually gonna make this pretty quick. I definitely can make this pretty quick, just basically talking because the Grizzlies, the Grizzlies are in action tonight. So definitely gonna be talking about that as well. But let's go ahead and get into this show. I'm definitely working on sharing the show out. Make sure y'all do the same as well. Definitely share this show out on everywhere on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you name it. Go ahead and share it out. That way, everybody knows where to go and know where they can find the very best in Titans content right here on the Titans of Truth channel. And again, definitely try to work on some big things coming. Definitely going to be doing a lot of stuff as far as the draft is concerned as well. So definitely stay tuned for that. And we're definitely going to have a very good time. I see my girl, Miss LaShondra, is here as well. Definitely shout out to her also and everything. So I appreciate everybody being in here. But let's go ahead and get the show started. Also, make sure y'all download on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast as well. Make sure y'all do that also. So that way, if you happen to miss any part of the show, you could definitely catch it on one of those great areas also. So then that way, you are still keeping up with everything that's happening. And so definitely going to do that. And we're going to get this road on the show because up first, we're going to definitely get into making sure, also make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel as well. We're definitely going to go into that also. But first up on the docket here on TNT tonight, the Metro Council, the Metro Nashville Council passed the second, and this is probably the most important reading. They passed that reading for the new stadium. They definitely passed that. So they passed that reading. So they're gonna go into the final. They're gonna go into the final vote next week. So there's been a lot of there's been some um there has been some controversy about it, and there were some that were wondering if this is going to get passed or not. There were some who were against this, that were against the stadium, talking about fund schools, not stadiums, and all this and that. And I don't pretend to be a politician. I don't pretend to be a politician or anything like that, but I'm glad that we're one step closer to getting this stadium finalized. And of course, this is the last chance that anybody had to make amendments or anything to change anything. And so they were talking about doing the Metro Council was trying to do everything in their power to make sure that some money were coming back to the city, and basically taking money off top for non-Titan events. And so when that happened, a lot of people didn't like that at all. The The NFL wasn't with it. The Titans wasn't with it. The mayor's office wasn't with it. WWE wasn't with it. The SEC wasn't with that. The city taking 10% off, off top. And that was basically, if that had went through, a lot of those big concerts and events and everything that was happening were not going to come here. And so they basically made an amendment. Instead of it being 10%, they shaved it down to about 3%, which is a little something that everybody else can get behind. But the way that I look at it, and I'm looking at this from the outside, me being a former Nashvilleian, and I still love the city, all I keep thinking to the Metro Council is, what are y'all doing? What's the holdup? Get this deal done. Get this over with so we can get this stadium built. And then I say this to everybody out there that's against the stadium. All I got to do is ask you this. Who are your favorite music artists? Because I know a lot of those people out there, a lot of the any women who are against the stadium are probably fans of Beyonce or fans of, like, let's say, Carrie Underwood or something like that. If one of them were going to be on tour in Nashville and they were performing at the stadium, I bet your bottom dollar you'd be trying to go. You would be trying to go to that concert. So you mean to tell you will be spending money on going to that concert, and you could go to that concert in a new stadium and you ain't got to worry about it raining out. You ain't got to worry about no lightning and all of that. You can enjoy the show. You will want to go, because I know there's a lot of people in the Beehive. I know that. I am not one of them. I'm just saying. To any men who might be against it, if guys like Luke Bryan and Luke Combs and Chris Stapleton and, hey, Kevin Hart does another big comedy show. Does a big comedy show or something like that, because, he does it in stadiums. For many of you who may not be Titans fans, but y'all are sports fans, a lot of y'all love the Vols. A lot of y'all love wrestling. Don't y'all want WrestleMania? One of the biggest events? The WWE already loved Nashville for what happened with SummerSlam. And now we have a chance at WrestleMania. And you want to say no to that because y'all want to fund schools? Which, don't get me wrong, funding schools is important. Getting education is extremely important. I am not going to discredit that. None whatsoever. That is important. Roads getting fixed, because there are potholes everywhere in Nashville, and traffic is always a problem in Nashville. I know it because I lived there for almost 10 years. So the fact of the matter is, this stadium deal is going to help pay for itself. Probably in about 5 years, the deal is going to be paid for. And then more money will go into the city to fix roads, fix schools, and all this and that. So all I got to say is this. You got to pay to play. It takes money to make money. So that's, again, that's just kind of my thoughts on that. And, I'm just saying that I'm happy that we're heading towards the final vote. It does look like the stadium is going to get approved, and I'm very happy about that. Let me see. Let me get some of y'all. I don't know if many of y'all are even commenting on this. Type Fox says you can fund schools off the profits brought in from the extra events and all the traffic coming through. Exactly, because they're trying to make it so that taxpayers in Davidson County don't have to pay on this stadium. They're trying to take the responsibility away from take the responsibility away from the taxpayer. Typhon said, I'm not happy with the design, but I'm glad we're getting one. Let's see. So I'm glad we're getting the stadium too. I'm definitely very happy about that. But moving on about that. Again, the final vote will be next Tuesday, so it'd be great to go into the draft talking. It'll be great going into the draft. That probably is going to be something that they'll mention when we're on the clock. Is like the Titans just got approved for a new stadium. So I'm definitely very happy about that. But next on the docket is the crazy rumor mill that is going on. I mean, you know, it's nuts what's happening. You got you got possibly the Houston Texans, you know, you got the Houston Texans possibly not taking a quarterback at 3, at 2, I mean. That they're saying that they may not take a quarterback at 2. That CJ Stroud possibly could be available at number 3. It is also a rumor that Trey Lance, could be traded. That the 49ers have been getting calls about Trey Lance. And also that the Titans have reached out to the Packers about Aaron Rodgers. That they've reached out about Aaron Rodgers. So this is just some of the rumors that have come out within the last week. Aaron Rodgers, I think it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to the Jets. However, right now that deal doesn't look as concrete as it originally looked because the deal hasn't been done yet. There's still an issue of what's going to be the compensation. So, the Packers want a first-round pick. The Jets don't want to give that up. And so all I'm thinking is if this Jets deal falls through, maybe the Jets give a call to Tennessee about a certain Ryan Tannehill as a backup plan. So, Tannehill, about $33 million cheap, about $23 million cheaper. Only has 1 year left on his deal. And so that could be a backup plan if it falls through. And then they're saying, and then of course, reports coming from Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport that the Titans have reached out about Aaron Rodgers, which I thought that deal was as good as dead. But, I mean, of course they're going to take a look at it. But I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening at all. I just don't think that's going to happen. Way too much money. It's going to cost way too much money. I don't really see that happening. I just think it's way too expensive. San Francisco getting calls about Trey Lance. I find it interesting. I mean, Trey Lance is a young quarterback. I mean, I think, if we want to go young, that's not a bad idea. However, I am not exactly in the camp of going after Trey Lance. And this is why. Trey Lance has not played any ball. Since the COVID year at North Dakota State, he hasn't even played half a season of football. So I firmly do not believe that Trey Lance is worth anything less than maybe a 3rd or 4th round pick if we get one. And I don't see it. I mean, in 2 years, he's only thrown 102 passes in 3 years, in 2.5 years. 102 passes, 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions in over 2.5 years. That's all we got out of Trey Lance. That's all we got. He was drafted in 2020 he was drafted. No, drafted in 2021, excuse me. 2 years. Has only played 8 games. 8 out of a possible 33 games. Played 6 games his first year, got hurt. Played 2 games last year, got hurt. And you want to give up draft capital for that? I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. That's just me. So I would not give up draft capital for Trey Lance. Now, if we can give up our 5th round pick that maybe could turn into a 4th, okay. I might get on board with that. But right now, it's a pass for me. Now, Houston saying that they may pass on CJ Stroud. If they pass on CJ Stroud, which I don't think they're going to do, it will be the dumbest thing the Houston Texans have ever done. Don't get me wrong, I think Will Anderson would be a heck of a pass rusher. But you got a chance to get CJ Stroud at number 2, and you're talking about giving that up? If anything, you get CJ Stroud to keep either the Colts or us from getting to him. Because I guarantee you, if Houston passes on CJ Stroud, and if I'm the Titans, I don't do anything until I know for certain who Houston is picking. I don't trade up. And CJ Stroud is the only quarterback I trade up for. I'm not trading up for Anthony Richardson, who I think is going to be a bust. And I don't trade up for Will Levis, who I think will be a journeyman at best. So I would not trade up for Levis. I would not trade up for Richardson. I would trade up for Stroud, and I would move heaven and earth to get him. What's up, DO9 Elite? Will you be live streaming for the draft? Yes, I will. I will be live streaming for the draft. That much is a guarantee. Most who do have podcasts, I know I'm thinking Titan Upload or Titan Rossi's going to be doing something as well. But yes, I will definitely be going live for the draft as well. Definitely going to try to get some guests as well also. Definitely going to see if I can reach out to a few people and do that. So definitely want Elise says, Ram wants his guy. Hot take. If Texas don't take a QB, you will see the Titan logo pop up at 3. I agree. If the Texans pass on CJ Stroud, I think the Titans trade up. And that's the only way I see that happening. And then the question is, what do you do with Tannehill? Do you hold on to Tannehill, let CJ Stroud sit a year, and then he starts next year? Or do you say, you know what, I believe this guy is ready to go day one, and you trade Tannehill? Because you could get some capital back for Tannehill. JS75 says, send Tannehill back to Miami. I don't think Miami will want him. Let's see. Did you see Peter Strager's mock draft? Colts trading with the Texans for number 2. Ian Rappaport said that's so unlikely. I did see that. I did see where Peter Strager said there's a trade between Colts and Texans. I'm with Ian Rappaport. There's no way Houston is trading with a division rival. That's like us trying to go up to 2. Houston is not going to trade with us or Indianapolis because they're not going to want to give us an advantage. So absolutely not. Ty Fox says, Tannehill gets traded to the Jets. Jets win the Super Bowl, and every Titan fan is in tears. Unlikely. I think that's unlikely too. I mean, if that happens and we get a good haul back, then I'm like, you know what? So be it. He couldn't do it for us. What's up, Vernon85? Tighten up. A-Name says, CJ is the only one I would touch as well. I would keep both unless Tanny has real value. Anything less than a third, let him battle it out. I agree. If you can get Tannehill for maybe a second and a fourth or a second and a third, or maybe even get lucky if somebody like the Jets, maybe the Commanders, even though they got Jacoby Brissett, another team is desperate for a quarterback. Maybe Atlanta in the second round. Maybe they'll give up the second and the third and maybe a 2 next year. If there's some value there, then yeah, I would definitely trade Tannehill. Buccaneers is another one. I agree with Elite. Buccaneers is another, even though they got Baker Mayfield. So, yeah, if you can get Stroud and get a second or third for Tannehill to a quarterback desperate team, then it'll be totally worth it. I agree. Elite says, if Stroud goes number 1 overall, Houston passes, would you trade up for Bryce Young? Consensus is that Bryce Young is going number 1. But let's just speak in the hypothetical. Knowing that's probably not going to happen, again, Houston would be stupid. And, of course, the rumor is Houston really wants Bryce Young. They want Bryce Young and nobody else, to be honest. But if either Bryce Young or CJ Stroud is there for the taking at 3, you move heaven and earth to get them. Plain and simple. There is no other question. I don't care what I got to give up. I'll give up the farm for Bryce Young. I'll give up quite a bit for CJ Stroud. I would not do that for Levis or Anthony Richardson. Wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. Ohio State on Facebook. Ohio State quarterbacks don't normally do as well in the NFL. I mean, we'll see. Justin Fields holding on in Chicago. He's not great, but he's got a starting job. Imagine Panthers taking Anthony Richardson. That would be very interesting. Extremely. So that's just stuff on the rumor mill that is going on. Again, definitely make sure y'all like, smash that like button. Everybody that's in here, smash that like button. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and then hit all under your notifications, ring that bell so that way you are you know when I'm going live. You will know when I go live for the draft next week, since we are a week away from the draft. Definitely make sure you definitely do that. But we're going to go ahead and get into let's see. D09, you say you disagree. What do you disagree about? Let me know what you disagree about. We'll talk about it. But in the meantime, the draft is a week away. Last week, we talked about offensive line. Tonight, we're talking wide receivers. I was going to have Ken Moore come on the show, but unfortunately, he has a prior engagement. He's going to the Houston Astros game. I know he's down there in Houston, a big Astros fan. Shout out to Ken Moore at K Moore Sports, definitely. But we're talking wide receivers, and we know this is a huge, huge, huge need for the Tennessee Titans. It is a big, desperate need. And if I'm the Titans, I think you not only need one receiver, I think you got to draft two. I think you got to draft two receivers in this draft. You have to. It just, I mean, um, it just makes too much sense. You know, I know a lot of people will say that this draft class of wide receivers isn't the best in the world, but I still think there are a lot of good receivers that could be had in this draft. I know, a lot of people will say not in, not in the first round, unless it's Jackson Smith and Jigba or maybe a Zay Flowers late in the first round or anything like that. But there are some receivers that can be had in this draft. And let's go right into it. First, I'm going to start off. I have my dark horse picks of wide receivers, and then I have my top 5 wide receivers that I'm looking at. And if I'm missing one, definitely let me know. Let me know who am I missing? Dion says we still need a tackle. And I'm not disagreeing with that. We definitely could use help on the offensive line still. But here are some dark horse picks that I have as far as wide receivers, maybe in the later rounds, maybe third round or lower. And so a couple of people that I have in mind are listed on the screen, and we're definitely going to talk about that. First off, you have guys like Josh Downs, the wide receiver from North Carolina, who will definitely probably go on day 2 in the second round. A short, speedy receiver. Looks like he can play inside, can play a little bit outside. Definitely, I do like Josh Downs quite a bit. Would not be a bad pick. Another guy who the Titans are extremely high on is Tyler Scott out of Cincinnati. Very, very fast wide receiver. The Titans already had a private dinner with Tyler Scott, and I believe he was in for a visit as well. Another guy that I know the Titans are very high on, Jonathan Mingo from Ole Miss. He reminds me a lot of A.J. Brown, honestly. I definitely do think that he will be a great pickup if you can get him in the third round. Tank Dell is somebody I think y'all have heard me talk quite a bit about. I mean, speedy. He's a slot receiver, very speedy. Can also help you in the return game as well. So I definitely do like Jonathan Mingo. And then Marvin Mims Jr. from Oklahoma, a absolute speed demon, a vertical threat. He also can help you in the return game. And I am a big, big fan of Marvin Mims Jr. I like a lot of these guys. Mims, Dell, Mingo. I am fans of all 3 of these guys. So what do y'all think of my dark horses? Some other guys that I maybe did not mention who, you could definitely see in the later rounds. Cedric Tillman is another. Rashid Rice is another. Xavier Hutchinson from Iowa State is another guy that I kind of have a liking to. Trey Palmer is a speedster. I've kind of fallen out of favor with Andre Ishavas and Kishan Butte. I've never been big on from LSU. Another guy late in the draft that I would not mind is Charlie Jones from Purdue. The guy just catches footballs and he can do a little bit of everything. So I am definitely a fan of some of those guys who could be picked late in the draft. Could be picked very late in the draft, in like rounds 5 and 6, or Darius Davis, who is an absolute burner for TCU as well. So those are just a few of the dark horses that I like in this draft. Let's see. Let's see. Lee says, love Tyler Scott. Overchicken says, Tank Dell from Houston put up 15,000 yards, was a punt returner. We definitely need a punt returner. That much is true. Lou Man says Jeray Jenkins and Michael Jefferson. I'm not very familiar with those guys. Mingo Mims and Dell might drop to the third round. That's why I wanted to trade back from 11, get extra picks, and get two of them. I do agree. Titan Fox says, some say Cedric Tillman is a better option than Jalen Hyatt. I wouldn't mind Cedric Tillman. I just think that speed factor, I love that speed factor. Bryce Ford Wheaton, Keon, I think is a underrated name that a lot of us have not mentioned from West Virginia. I did see him at the combine. He would be a nice late pick, maybe in the 6th or 7th round. Definitely, is a surprise name that a lot of people may not have heard of, but might need to know about. But here are my top 5 wide receivers that I like. And I'm going to go from 5 to 1. At number 5, Jalen Hyatt. I know I spelled his name wrong. I thought I had it right, but I don't. And give me a moment, I could actually fix that. But Jalen Hyatt measured at 6 foot, 176 pounds, had 67 catches, 1,276 yards, and had a lot of touchdowns. I believe he had 15 to be exact. And so 15 touchdowns to be exact. I am definitely a fan of Jalen Hyatt. I like what he brings to the table. I mean, the one thing that I will mention, of course, the pros and cons. Number 1, speed, and more speed. That is his calling card. That is his number 1 trait. Speed. He is extremely fast. He has some very good hands. He is a true downfield threat. If he gets open and catch the ball, as Deion Sanders would say, you might as well just go ahead to the sideline and get ready for the kickoff because you're not going to catch him. Extremely fast, extremely productive this past year, and did it against big-time teams. He did this against guys like he did it against the Alabamas. He did it against the he did it against the big time teams in football. and did it very, very well at a very high clip. He did it against Arkansas. He did it against Alabama. You know, he had a big game against Missouri, and things like that. You know, he had a big game against Kentucky when they had to have it. So Jalen Hyatt, speed is the calling card. And that is exactly what we need. Speed, 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 more speed. Now, Cons he only had 1 year of production. He went up from around 22 catches the year before to 67 this past year. And so only 1 year of production. He mainly ran either go routes or the deep crossing or the deep post route. You know, really didn't have a huge route tree. And that's something that could be, and that's something that, I call him to question. Speed is his only trait. You don't really see a lot of defined route running and everything with that. I mean, he just runs past people. Derek Roberts says, missed the last 2 lives, not getting a notification for some reason. Make sure you ring the bell and hit all on that. And, definitely apologize. You're not getting a notification. I'm going to have to work on that and maybe see what's going on. But Jalen Hyatt, I definitely like his speed. And I think he could be a great number 2 alongside Treylon Burks. But again, Derek, thank you so much for the super chat. And Ty Fox says you need more than one trait in a good weapon. And I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. You're going to have to need more than speed to do it, but speed is an excellent trait to have. An excellent trait to have. At number 4, I go Quinn Johnston from TCU. Watched a few of his games against Oklahoma State. I watched against Kansas as well, and I watched a little bit of him against Michigan. One thing about him, 6'3", 208, a big body guy. 60 catches, 1,069 yards, 6 touchdowns. He's definitely a big body receiver with some very good speed. He's definitely a vertical threat and has some swift feet. He can, break a few tackles. And he has the ability to take over games. He definitely could do that. Again, did that against Kansas. Did that against Oklahoma State. Took games over. However, Cons, he ain't exactly willing to block. And y'all know Mike Vrabel loves a wide receiver that can block. So you got to be able to at least block a little if you're going to play for Mike Vrabel. He needs to work on his routes. His routes are not extremely refined. He runs decent routes, but could be better. And he could be a little bit more physical at the catch point, because I was listening to a podcast and I was listening to Steve Smith, the Hall of Fame wide receiver from Carolina. And, he said, there could be one moment where he looked like he's that dude. And then the next moment, he's not. And so I'm like, y'all hear Derek Mason, former Titans receiver, always say he wants a receiver that has that dog in him. And sometimes I don't know if Quentin Johnston has that dog in him. On one play, it looks like he does. On another play, it looks like he doesn't. Like there was a play against, I believe against Oklahoma State that I looked at. Quick slant, ball thrown right on time. He catches it and then lets the opponent, the defensive player, knock it out of his hands. I'm like, if you're physical and you're a big physical receiver, you got to haul that in. And that defensive player should not be able to take that ball away from you. No freaking way he should be able to take that ball away from you. And so I don't know if he's going to have to be more physical in the NFL because corners are going to get physical with him. At number 3, I'm going with Zay Flowers out of Boston College. 5'9", 182, 78 catches, 1,077 yards, 12 touchdowns. The first word that comes to mind when I think of Zay Flowers, playmaker. This guy just makes plays. All you need to do is get the ball in his hands. I mean, he is a very good route runner. He can line up anywhere. He ain't just, even though a lot of people will project him as a slot guy, he's lined up everywhere, whether it's on the right side of the formation, left side of the formation, in the slot, outside. He's played outside. And so you can line him up anywhere. He is a rack expert, yards after catch, run after the catch. He is big on that. Definitely has some very, very good speed. And the thing I really like about him, he plays bigger than what he is. He reminded me of a Steve Smith. He plays big. And you got to love a guy like that. You got to love a guy like that. And so, Kenyon, Quentin Johnston didn't really do much in the national championship game. I mean, with Quentin Johnston, if he's there in round 2, I wouldn't mind. I think he's a good player, but I just don't know if he has that dog in him. Zay Flowers, he has some dog in him. Now, the problem is his size. He is a small guy. He could struggle against taller, more physical corners. But I think he has that big playability, and with that speed, if a corner gives him any cushion, it might be like, see you, goodbye, thanks for coming. So I definitely like Zay Flowers a whole lot. He would be somebody I would trade back and get late in the first round. I would absolutely love Zay Flowers. Number 2 is Jackson Smith-Njigba. And I know a lot of you are going to be wondering, how is it that I have Jackson Smith-Njigba at number 2? I will explain why I have a certain person at number 1 in just a minute. But Smith-Njigba, 6'1", 196. I put his stats up from 2021 because that was his best year. 95 catches, 1,600 yards, 9 touchdowns. He did not play very much in 2022 because of injury. You know, he dealt with the hamstring. He only had 5 catches, 43 yards in 2022. So he really did not play very much this past season. And then decided, of course, he only played in 3 games and then basically sat out the rest of the way to prepare for the NFL draft. So Njigba, I think, again, is a very good route runner. I think he has some very, very good hands. He can separate. He's definitely willing to block. And once again, he had a very good 2021 season, a great 2021 season. The cons I have for him is he's not extremely fast. He doesn't have the top end speed. He can get into the open field, but he can't get caught from behind. He didn't really play outside a whole lot in 2022, but that does not mean he can't play outside. TD, Teron Davenport, was on a show, I believe it might have been Caroline, Willie, and D. Mace last week, And, they asked him, he's like, could Smith and Jigma play outside? And he said, abso-freaking-lutely, he could play outside. He could definitely do that. So I think he is willing to do that. But, of course, he had some injuries that played 2022, and then he sat out the rest of the way. Of course, I see D09 is like, Smith and Jigma, not all that to me. A-Name says, JSN is a very safe prospect, but very low ceiling for first-round picks. He's a good number 2, no more, no less. And I definitely see where you're coming from with that. Kenyon says, I like Flowers a lot. I do too. And then at number 1, my number 1 wide receiver is Jordan Addison from USC, by way of Pittsburgh, the former 2021 Biletnikoff Award winner. Only had 59 catches, 875 yards, 8 touchdowns. Of course, he dealt with some injuries as well. But loved him coming out of Pittsburgh. If he was able to come out, I think he would have been the first receiver taken in last year's draft, because I just think he's that damn good. He has great hands. He knows how to get open. That's one thing about Jordan Addison. He knew how to get open. He knows how to find the areas in the soft coverage to get open and be able to come back to the quarterback. He has some very decent speed. He's pretty good after the catch. And has years of production. Cons, a little small built, right at 5'11", 6 foot. Could put on maybe another 10 pounds. He could struggle sometimes against the press coverage, because sometimes he could get knocked off of his route if he goes up against a physical corner. And again, he dealt with injuries as well. But I think the good outweighs the bad with Jordan Addison. I like Jordan Addison a whole lot, especially with Pittsburgh. Titan Fox says, Addison looks like a Titans pick. Injury problems. Need to put on some weight. And I agree. I definitely agree. D09 says, Addison is the truth. I agree. I love Jordan Addison. I do. Titan Fox said Jason's route running ability, he does like it. Past 2 years dealt with these past 2 years with injury problems. 3 and out has become the second language. If he could pick up those second and third down passes, I definitely agree. So those are my top 5. Jalen Hyatt at 5, Quinn Johnston at 4, Zay Jones at 3, Zay Flowers at 3, Jackson Smith and Jigba at 2, and at 1, Jordan Addison. And yes, I'm talking about, these are my top 5 draft choices. This is what I would do. Okay? This is what I would think. So, Over Chicken says, as much as I love and want a wide receiver, Tennessee needs to go O-line with the 11th pick. Paris, or you mean Paris Johnson or Peter Stroyansky? I definitely agree. I do think they will go offensive line in the first round. I do. If they don't trade up for a quarterback. I definitely do agree with that. Last but not least, congratulations are in order. I'm going to go my blue bombshell. The Grizzlies are playing the Lakers tonight in game 2 of the NBA playoffs. And right now, I need the Grizzlies to find a way to win this game. But before that, Jaren Jackson Jr., our big man, a.k.a. the Block Panther, won the Defensive Player of the Year award. So definitely shout out to Jaren Jackson on winning that award. He was with his family when they announced that he had won, and this guy has really, really come of age, and he has grown, and he has become a legit starting big man. And I am extremely happy for him. I'm proud of him and what he has accomplished. Um, and I just think that sky is absolutely the limit for Jaren Jackson Jr. going forward. I am again very, very, very happy for him that he won Defensive Player of the Year. He deserves it, and led the league in blocks. And I think he is going to do a lot more in many years to come. So congratulations to Jaren Jackson Jr. Now, as far as the Grizz are concerned, they got this game against the Los Angeles Lakers, game 2, coming up. And, this is a very important game because the Grizzlies are already down 1-0. As soon as I get off of here, I am, trying to get myself prepared so I can watch this game and be ready to cheer my Grizzlies on to victory so that we can tie this thing up at 1 and take this thing to LA and try to get at least one of 2 in LA. But the Grizzlies did not play well in game 1 going down the stretch. So Titan Fox says he's out. I'm like, look, I understand basketball is not some people's cup of tea, but I just figure I'd talk about it because I am a Grizzlies fan. Unfortunately, yeah, it does look like Ja Morant will be out for this game. Now, the Grizzlies, since the start of last year, are 32-13 when Tyus Jones starts for Ja Morant. So I do think we're in good hands. And I think it's okay that we're starting Tyus Jones instead of Ja Morant. I think we're going to be fine. And if the Grizzlies could just take care of business inside, they cannot let, AD have a big game, and they cannot let LeBron go off. And, the last game, unfortunately, Rui Hachimura, who had the game of his life, probably won't have that type of game again. And, Reeves, he's good. So we got to play better defensively. And offensively, you can't have lulls. You have got to be able to get out to a lead, and you have got to run the Lakers ragged. Overchicken says Tyus is going to need to not have a good game. He needs to have an amazing game. I mean, I think Tyus is good because his assist-to-turnover ratio, one of the best in the league, and he's been like that for the last 6 out of 7 years. And Jaren is going to have to stay out of foul trouble because we are lacking size. But I do believe if we play small, I think we definitely have a chance. So I think the Grizzlies win this game. Do you think Rui and Reeves will go off again? I'm going to say no. I don't think those two go off again. Reeves, I think, will be decent, but I don't see Hachimura going off like that again. I really don't. Lou Man is going for the Nuggets. I mean, we might see the Nuggets later on if we can get past this series. But I think the Grizzlies are going to get the win. I think they'll go to LA tied at 1. They can't afford to go down 2-0. They got to win this game. And I think they will win this game. But everybody, again, next week, we're going to get into the quarterbacks more because we're going to talk quarterbacks as we will have preview that, and I will have my last mock draft. I am going to try to do a very quick mock draft live on this show, making picks, and then we will preview the live draft show that we will have on Thursday night. So we're definitely going to do that. But everybody, I want to say thank y'all for tuning in to TNT tonight. I'm your man, Chris, a.k.a. Blue Enforcer. Make sure y'all share the show. We need to get up. I want to get up to 1,500 subscribers by training camp. I want that. Let's make it happen. Help me out, y'all. Help me help you. And thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all have a great rest of your night. Go Grizz and tighten up, because that's all we know how to do. Night, y'all.